Welcome to Fifth Third Bank Stadium. Atlanta United 2, 1-1 draw with Indy 11. It sounds like not much happened, but it did. There was a lot in this game. It was a pretty wild one here at the Fraction. Atlanta United 2 fell behind first. Jordan Hamilton scored in the 64th minute. Connor Stanley answered back 9 minutes later. And neither team could find a winner in the last 15-plus minutes. Jarrett Smith's doing jumping jacks, I guess. I don't know why.
He's doing guitar solos.
John was doing the mashed potato because he does references from the 50s and 60s.
He does. Yeah, you're just jealous.
No, I'm not. I don't want to do references from the 50s and 60s. I really don't. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a game from 2021 because it was a good one. It was a really fun match as things closed out. And a couple of other things real quick on the stats side before we get into some reflections on it. Possession, 51% for Atlanta United 2. That's a little lower than the season average. 23 shots for Atlanta United 2. That is above the season average. 8 on target. Eric Dick in his first start for Indy 11 this season was outstanding with 7 saves. Passing, both teams were pretty good tonight. Atlanta 85%, Indy 79%. The duels were very evenly split, 48-46 to Indy. Atlanta United 2, 59% on the dribble, 13 out of 22. That was a big factor in the match. Indy won 20 tackles. It felt like the game had its kind of waves of momentum, Jarrett, and Atlanta United 2 gave as good as they got. And for a night where, Indy rotated their lineup, they brought fresh legs off the bench in the second half, and it showed. The fight from Atlanta United 2 was a very, very prominent factor in getting a point.
It was, and it was, it was rough at the end. Jack Collison said, "These boys are gladiators. I'm just proud of the way they're going about their business at the moment. Tonight, they had 2 fit subs on the bench. I mean, this team was thin. And, thin ain't the right word for it. It's too generous of a word. So he was very impressed with the character. And, mentally, the mentality piece is something that's hard to come by, especially with these young teams. And you've had it now with this team. And you had 3 games last week. This is your second game this week. You have another home game on Saturday. It's a lot of games, and mentality-wise and fight-wise, they rolled out there tonight, especially late in that game. Those legs were going. I think you were starting to see the mental mistakes that come with that exhaustion as well. But they fought. Rocco Rios Novo stood up and made the saves he had to make late to help out his teammates. Guys were running all over the place. Jason, I know you pointed out one where Bryce Washington hauled tail across the field to cover for Caleb Wiley, whose legs just couldn't give anymore. They banded together and they really fought hard together, I thought, and I was very impressed with, the way they fought even late in that match when Indy could smell the winning goal. And Atlanta didn't give up. And it certainly wasn't a matter of Atlanta playing poorly by any stretch. I think their legs were just going on them in the end, and it was such a good fight from them.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the situation with Atlanta United as a whole, a lot of players that we have seen with Atlanta United 2 who are on loan from the MLS side are not available right now because they are making their way to Nashville for an MLS match tomorrow to either play or be on the bench. Guys like Josh Bauer, George Campbell, Alex DeJohn, Mikey Ambrose, players that we've seen play minutes on the 2's side of things are just not available at the moment. So this was a short bench, a short roster. And when you look back at Saturday with a second half that was played with 10 men, and you look at some of the amounts of minutes that guys like Chris Allen and Caleb Wiley and Robbie Mertz and Bryce Washington and Bradley Camden-Feo and Aiden McFadden put up, John, to come back after falling behind is a statement in and of itself.
No question. Aiden McFadden has played 90 minutes in every match he's been a part of this season. Bradley Camden-Feo has been in 11 matches coming into tonight, so he's been active in 12 matches this season. You got Aiden McFadden at 810 minutes coming in. That's now at 900. You add another 90 to Camden-Feo. That puts him at 850. Chris Allen, 10 games played, 10 starts coming into tonight. 877 minutes. And you're looking at guys who are just clocking in a lot of minutes across the board. Caleb Wiley averaging almost 85 minutes a start. Robbie Mertz, once he got healthy, same thing. And you're seeing a lot of fight in these guys and just not giving up under any of these circumstances with all of these guys that are putting in all of these minutes and putting in key minutes and making key actions at times to either preserve wins, preserve draws, or give you that little extra boost to make sure that you can get the points that you're looking for there at the end.
Some of the key numbers in this one, Connor Stanley with the goal, 5 of 6 on the dribble for Connor Stanley, consistently causing problems. Darwin Mateus was 2 of 3 on the dribble, had 3 shots blocked. There were a lot of shots blocked across the board here tonight, especially on the Indy side. Bryce Washington, I thought a really good performance from him as center back tonight. 3 interceptions, 2 tackles, had 3 clearances. He was the one who stood out defensively. Camden Feo with a couple of interceptions, a couple of tackles, 3 clearances from him. Caleb Wiley with 3 interceptions. On the passing side of things for Atlanta United 2, Connor Stanley created 3 chances. Caleb Wiley created 4. Robbie Mertz created 4. 2 big chances for Mertz. Aiden McFadden created 2 chances. Chris Allen created 2 chances. Johnny Fortune, Bryce Washington, Daniel Sabatu, Darwin Mateus, Will Riley all created a chance. That's a lot of chances.
Yes.
That's a whole lot of chances that Atlanta United created. Atlanta United 2 created tonight. Duels, there's a couple of those that really stand out as well. Connor Stanley winning 8 of 13 on the ground. Sabatu won 3 of 4 in the air, and that was really important in the second half because he had to kind of hold up play a little bit as Indy came into the second half and really took control of the match for a period of time. Will Riley, very, very good tonight in his final match with the 2's, and we'll talk a little more about that here in a second. 9 of 11 on the duels for Will Riley, earned 4 free kicks. Passing for the 2's, Bradley Camden Feo, 65 of 72, 90%. Chris Allen at 86%, Wiley at 83%, Rocco Rios Novo 50 of 53 for 94%. The only passes he didn't complete were longer ones. Bryce Washington, this is a big part of his development, 85%, 40 of 47. Will Riley, 32 of 38 in the middle of the park, and he had one of the sweetest turns you will ever see at midfield to create an opportunity for the 2's late in the match. Jarrett, you were on the conference call with Coach Jack Collison and with Will Riley. What stood out to you?
Jack Collison about had a religious experience, even talking to us about the Cruyff turn that Will Riley pulled in the middle of the field.
I almost ran out of the booth to yell.
I thought he was going to have a religious experience. It was very impressive. It was impressive he didn't lose his mind, which is good because I didn't have to ask him anything that might get him fined this week because officiating wasn't a storyline. Sergei Demyanchuk was pretty good tonight. He was. I thought he did a really good job, and he controlled the game with communication with players. He talked to them. He let guys know where they stood. I was very happy with that. That being said, looking at what Will Riley was able to put together, Jack Collison said, I think the biggest thing for Will, he really embodies everything we want Atlanta United to stand for. It's not easy to go out there in the middle of the pitch when people are pressing you to be able to get the ball and make things happen. He's going to leave a hole in the team, but we're really proud of him. Riley himself, he's formed this midfield that has such chemistry with him and Robbie Mertz and Chris Allen, especially he and Chris Allen, I think, are gotten to that point where they operate on the same wavelength, and it has been so much fun to watch. He said any of us can go anywhere in the middle three, and I think that's what makes it work so well. He said last year we were going down and not coming back. This year we've got a little more resolve. There's so much young talent in this club. He said this is where I grew up. I think I've matured so much here, and I'm sure I'm going to have to do plenty of that when he goes off to college. The thing for me for Will Riley is I feel like you can encapsulate a lot of what has happened with his growth with this club in the sense that when he came on, his first game was the 8-1 loss at Red Bull Arena, where there were moments with that young Atlanta United 2 team where those kids looked kind of overwhelmed at times playing against adults, which is understandable. But as he has grown along with this team, they don't have that look about them anymore. They're not overwhelmed. They're not scared of the moment. They're not scared of people who are 15 years older than them. They believe that they can go out there and play with them. And we saw it tonight in the first half when Indy came in pressing in the first 15 minutes and Atlanta broke the pressure a couple times. They're not afraid of playing through the pressure. They're not afraid of making a mistake here or there. They know they can learn from it, and they know that they'll pick each other up for it. And I thought that it's so much fun to watch them play through it and go up against these adults and just take the fight to them.
Yeah, the 2's had really good pressure of their own, multiple times causing turnovers. I thought that was a big factor in the match. Who stood out to you, John?
Well, I mean, obviously you look at, Aiden McFadden and what he was trying to do there in the first half. You'd mentioned on the air about them, Atlanta United 2, working their way down the left and trying to expose what they saw down the left-hand side. You see somebody like Aiden McFadden. Obviously, we talked about Will Riley, and we'll continue to talk about him in just a bit. Chris Allen continues to impress for me when he's working through the midfield as well. Connor Stanley, with his movement on the ball and off the ball, trying to create opportunities there for the equalizer there in the 73rd as well. And just looking at folks briefly like a Daniel Sabatu, who's in his second match in USL Championship, continuing to grow as a 16-year-old, and Bryce Washington continuing to learn when it comes to what his duties are supposed to be. And then Rocco Rios Novo, obviously, with what we've seen from him. And there's also notice on Twitter already that if the double save isn't nominated for Save of the Week in USL Championship and win, that there's something wrong.
Well, yeah, I said it on the call. I told them to clip it.
Clip it.
I hope they were paying attention because it was absurd. The first save was even better seeing it on the replay. And the second save was just pure bravery going to the feet of Arteaga. I also want to give a shout to Johnny Fortune. I thought coming off the bench, we talked about it in the second half, the subs that Indy made really changed things. Nick Moon coming on at halftime completely changed the game. I thought Moon was outstanding for Indy 11.
United legend Gordon Wild.
Loudon United legend Gordon Wild. He had 10 goals for them. He had one here with Atlanta United too. He was good, but Nick Moon came on and brought a different energy and was a problem. Johnny Fortune came on 10 minutes later and was also a problem. He was very, very good and created some opportunities in the final third that I didn't expect from him.
Yep.
Hit the post once and had a chip that nearly found a goal. Now, after that chip, Indy took the goal kick very quickly and went down and scored. That's not on Fortune. I thought Fortune was really good off the bench.
Yeah. I've been so impressed with him after the Memphis game where he gets the 2 first half yellows that he has come out. He comes out in this game the other night over the weekend. He comes into that game, first time back in action, and immediately hits a long diagonal. And Jack Collison talked about that Fortune was hyping himself up to come in. He has responded so positively and so well. And I'm so impressed with just his mental toughness, if you want to call it that he has gone out there and he hasn't been afraid. Those, call them what you will, mistakes that he made in the Memphis game, they have not deterred him from being the player that he's capable of at this age, at this level. I'm so impressed with the way he has bounced back and showed zero fear.
He hasn't done what we see young players do occasionally, which is be more timid after making mistakes like that. He was audacious at times tonight. It was really impressive to see. The Rocco Rios Novo double save, 2 saves for him in that sequence. He made 5 on the night. Was very good. Eric Dick was potentially...
Eric Dick's rating tonight?
On SofaScore, Eric Dick got the highest rating of anyone, and it was an 8.1.
Oh, wow. Somehow feels low.
Yeah, he was outstanding. His first start of the season, his 4th start in his career. But Rocco was nearly as good, and Rocco was definitely more involved in terms of possession. Connor Stanley was the second highest rated player, but the goalkeepers tonight were both very, very good. Jarrett, anything else stood out to you?
No, I mean, that was Eric Dick stood out to me in the fact that Atlanta could have had 4 or 5 goals easily in this game. Aiden McFadden's going to probably punch a wall because he's going to feel like he should have had a hat trick in this game. I love the way Atlanta overloaded the left-hand side early in the game. it was basically, I said on Twitter, it was basically the plot of Varsity Blues, where they play the oop-de-oop offense and overload the left side, and Charlie Tweeter gets isolated on the right one-on-one. Is what you were
so
doing.
Aiden McFadden was Charlie Tweeter?
No. Yeah, yes. Aiden McFadden was Charlie Tweeter. Because the one that stuck out to me, I think, was the first one where Connor Stanley floats a ball about as perfectly as humanly possible to Aiden McFadden standing all by his lonesome on the right side of the box. And it's a great save by Dick to keep him out. But the fact that Atlanta was able to keep going back to that well, I really loved that. Then you get the adjustment the second half. Darwin Mateus, I'm wondering if he picked up a knock when he ran into the boards down here just after the kickoff. I don't know if he got spiked or what. But you change things up there. Connor Stanley talked about he was asked to tuck inside more. He and Ajani were asked to tuck inside more. It cleared up more space on the outside for guys like Aiden and for Caleb to get forward. And he said, look what that gave us the goal, because you have the goal at the end of the line here. And we talked to Jack about the hopes they have for Caleb Wiley. That Wiley's able to get wide, and I asked him about telling Wiley, how often do you talk to him about just being that guy to take guys on? Because you see Caleb Wiley square up on his man, as we're watching it right now. He squares up on him, and he takes him on. He puts that ball in the box. It goes off the rear of the defender, but it drops to Connor Stanley, who needed that goal as much as anybody, and turns and puts a rocket into the net.
Yeah, it was good work from Johnny Fortune to start the sequence, and he played it out to Caleb Wiley, who didn't just look to get to the end line to put in a cross. He drove into the 18, and yeah, it takes a deflection, and it finds its way to Stanley, who buries it, and you could tell what it meant to him and his reaction. But Wiley going at the defender is something that needs to happen more. He's 16. Daniel Sabatu's 16. There were two 16-year-olds, and not like on the old side of 16. These are like fairly recent 16-year-olds.
Well, Daniel Sabatu is built like a grown man, too.
Yeah, and he's figuring out how to use his body as a number 9. I mean, he has played on the wing a lot in his academy time, and he's figuring it out. Caleb Wiley got a chance to do a lot of that at 15 and kind of figure it out. But Wiley's development in that second half, especially once Indy kind of figured out, okay, they're going to overload one side to try to free up McFadden, Atlanta switched it up and would overload the right side and play it to Wiley into space. And he was creating things and he was making things happen. It was really nice to see.
Yeah, no question. And to see Caleb Wiley continue to grow the way that we have, and to not show any kind of apprehension when it comes to taking advantage of an opportunity that's presented to him, where he wants to make something happen for Atlanta United late or when they're trailing in an opportunity like this. So it's good to see these moments from 16-year-olds who are continuing to become acquainted with what they're being asked to do with Atlanta United too.
That's going to do it for us on the 2's review. 1-1 tonight with Indy 11. We're back at it on Saturday, 7:30 on ESPN Plus, and also here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium. Sporting Kansas City 2 coming to town. I hope these guys get a lot of ice baths between now and then, because they're going to need it, because I don't know how many reinforcements they're going to have before Saturday night. And also, that 2's review might be just a little bit later, or it might be John and Jarrett solo out in the stands, because there's a little Copa America final at that point, and I will be able to watch the second half, and you probably won't want to hear the things I'm yelling at the TV, depending on how it goes.
Just live stream it, you coward.
Emiliano Martinez might blush a little bit at some of the things I might say. But we will have a 2's review on Saturday night. Atlanta United 2, Sporting Kansas City 2, 7:30 here in Kennesaw. Thanks for listening. We'll have shows for you between now and then. They will just be a little sporadic and all over the place. Make sure you are following us on Twitch. Make sure you are subscribed if you are able to. Make sure you are subscribed to us on your favorite pod catchers. Thanks for being part of the SDH Nation. We'll see y'all soon.
Much plata.
Much plata.